So far, in last video, we discussed about the dimensional formula of different physical quantities. Now the question comes in our mind that if I know the dimensional formula of a physical quantity, then what is the use of that? If there is no use of the dimensional formula of a physical quantity, then it is no meaning, or it has no meaning to know about the dimensional formula if it has no use. So that means if we know the dimensional formula, what are the uses of this dimensional formula, that we will discuss in this section. Okay, so in this session we will discuss about the applications of the dimensional formula. Okay, so now we will go for the applications of the dimensional analysis. The dimensional applications of dimensional analysis. What the dimension formula we got, now we will go for the applications of this dimensional analysis. Is that clear? So in this applications of the dimensional analysis, there are number of applications of dimensional analysis, but here we will discuss the three most important applications of this dimensional analysis. So in this video I will discuss two, then I will make the third one in next video. I will do the third one in the next video. So the uses of this application of this dimensional analysis, let me write the three cases. That to convert a physical quantity, first one is the to convert a physical quantity to convert a physical quantity from one system of units to another, from one system of units to another. That is the first application. We will check, or we will discuss one by one. The next one, to check the correctness of a given physical relation, means a relation is given to you, you can check that physical relation. And the third one uses to derive a relation between different physical quantities. To derive a relation using, or to derive a relationship between different physical quantities. Clear? So these are the applications of dimensional analysis. I will explain this when I will discuss one by one. So in this video I will go for the second one, then the third one. The first one I will discuss in the next video. Clear? Is that clear for you? Right. Okay. So now we will go for this applications. First I will go for the second one, then I will go for the third one, then in the first one I will discuss the next video. But before we discuss all these things, before we discuss these applications, there is a principle on which the applications of dimensional analysis best, and that principle is called as the principle of homogeneity. So before we use the applications of dimensional analysis, before we know the applications of dimensional analysis, we should know the principle of homogeneity. Clear? So now I will go for the principle of homogeneity. Now come to the principle of homogeneity. So what this principle states? The principle states that a given physical relation is dimensionally correct. A given physical relation, the relations comes in our physics, that the physical relations. A given physical relation is dimensionally correct, means a physical relation, we can say it is dimensionally correct if the dimension of the various, if the dimensions of various terms, or we can say the various physical quantities, various terms. I will explain this one. Various terms on either side of the relation, on either side of the relation are the same. So what it means? The relation says that a given physical relation is dimensionally correct if the dimensions of various terms on either side of the relation are the same. What it means? Let us consider for an example. Let's take as an example. Let I got a relation in physics by some derivation. I got a relation like x is a physical quantity, that x is equal to y square by a plus z q, like this. I got a relation like that where x, y, a, z are the physical quantities. X, y, a, z are the physical quantities. Maybe a force or a acceleration or maybe a velocity, like that. It may be a physical quantity. So what it says, a given relation is dimensionally correct. This relation, I will say dimensionally correct if the dimension of various terms, how many terms are there here? 3 terms. I can say 3 terms. One is this one is a term, this one is a total is a term, and this one is a term. So dimension of various terms on either side of the relation, this is one side, left side, this is the right side, of the relation are same, means this is dimensionally correct. I will say this one is a dimensionally correct according to principle of homogeneity if the dimension of this physical quantity should be equal to the dimension of physical quantity like this, the term, not the physical quantity, that is the term. Then this should be equal, not plus, this should be equal to zq, like that. The dimension means I will write in square bracket, it means it implies the dimension of the term x, the dimension of this term, the dimension of this term, all should be same. Then the relation is dimensionally correct. Then the relation is dimensionally correct. From here you can know that, from here you can know another concept that like physical quantities are added or subtracted. It means if there is a minus sign, it does not bother me. If there is a minus sign, it does not bother me. I am not concerned about this plus or minus sign, or there is a minus sign, there is a minus sign like that, or there is a plus minus. It does not bother. It does not bother the relation according to the principle of homogeneity. Means whatever may be plus or minus, the dimension is not plus or minus. It is like what we are finding the dimension of physical quantity. Means I can say the dimension of a force is m1 L1 T minus 2. And if I will ask you what is the dimension of 5 Newton, you will say m1 L1 T minus 2. If I will ask you what is the dimension of minus 5 Newton, Newton is the unit of force, so it is a force. So the dimension of minus 5 Newton means it is the physical quantity where the dimension is m1 L1 T minus 2. So it does not make me any changes. The dimension does not changes. That is the number one. Then another thing we know from here that like physical quantities are added. It means this torr, what it involves, this torr is a one physical quantity it involves. What the dimension of this one means, this must be, this total torr must be the same physical quantity what is this one, and this torr must be the same physical quantity what is this one. So all should be of same nature of the physical quantity, means same nature physical quantities are added. Force is added with force, distance is added with distance. You never add 2 meter with 5 kg. You cannot add 2 meter with 5 kg. If I will ask what is the value of this one, 2 meter plus 5 kg. Answer is what? It has no meaning, because meter is the length. It is a physical quantity length, and its dimension is L1, and kg is a mass, and its dimension is what? M1. So L1 cannot be added with M1. L1 cannot be added with M1. So force is added with force, work is added with work, power is added with power, electric charge is added with electric charge. So like that. So like physical quantities, the like physical quantities are added or subtracted, right? But you can multiply that. 2 meter can be multiplied with 5 kg. You can multiply that. So if you multiply 2 meter with 5 kg, then we will get 10 meter kg or 10 kg meter, 10 kg meter, like that. Or you can multiply then, or you can subtract, you can divide them, but they cannot be added or subtracted. Okay. So this is the conclusion from your principle of homogeneity. Okay. So now you got this one clear. I think all of you know the applications. We will read about the applications, and number 2 and number 3 we will discuss. Then you know about the principle of homogeneity. We will apply this principle of homogeneity. By using that, I will go for the first or one of the application. That is what the application I will go for here, to check the correctness of a given physical relation. Let me erase this one. Okay, now come to the one of the application of dimensional analysis, to check the dimensional correctness of a given physical relation. Remember, it is written that check the dimensional correctness. I am not telling that the relation is a dimensionally correct. Dimensionally correct. To check the dimensionally correctness or simply correctness, both are different things. Means what? So in this discussion, we will know that a relation is dimensionally correct, but absolute correctness cannot be decided by dimensionally correctness. By knowing, or you know that a relation is dimensionally correct, it means it is not always physically, or you can say the absolute correct. The relation is absolute correct. That's why you written here, to check the dimensional correctness of a given physical relation. Now you use the principle of homogeneity, and you can check the dimensional correctness of a given physical relation. Let me take a relation. Let me take an example how we will find out. An example is the S is equal to, the equation is given ut plus half at square. It is given that S is equal to ut plus half at square. It is given to me. So the question is here, check whether this relation is dimensionally correct or not, or check whether the relation is dimensionally, or if the relation is correct or not. So if you find the dimension of this one, so according to the principle of homogeneity, this equation involves 3 terms S ut half at square. where the symbols have their usual meanings. It is generally written that the sentence is where the symbols have their usual meanings. Usual meanings means what? As you already know the symbols, and what the symbols you know, that is here. So for you, as you are the beginners, then for you I can say that S is nothing but it is the distance. S is the distance, where I can write what are the symbols are, where S is the distance and U is called as the initial velocity, and T, as you know, that is the time, and A is the acceleration. So this is an equation of kinematics. This is called as a equation of kinematics. One of the equation of kinematics. We will read that. In later we will read that. So I will check the correctness. So this is given. Check the dimensionally correctness of the relation. So what we will do? So to check the correctness or the dimensional accuracy of the equation, you have the first we will find the dimension of different terms. So the dimensions of, let me write, dimensions of different terms are, what are the different terms? First I will find S. S is a term. So I will write like this. This is the dimensions. It is not actual dimension formula. Dimension means the powers. If you write like this is the dimension formula. So it is not so much a difference. So you can say dimensions or the dimension formula. So what is the dimension of S? S is the distance, so it should be L1. This is the dimension. Then I will go for UT. Dimension of UT. This is one term, not individual physical quantity. We will say the term. If it is multiplied or any power is there, multiplication, division, then that total is a term. So UT. So UT means what? What is the dimension of U? That is your velocity, L1 t minus 1. Already you know that, L1 t minus 1. So that is the use. Why we read this dimension analysis? And t, that is equal to into t1. T means time t1. So if you write this one is equal to L1 t minus 1 t1. So this total is what? T minus 1 plus 1 minus n plus 1 0. So we can write L1. Clear? That is the second term. Then the third one, half a t square, the dimension of half a t square. So what is this half? What is the dimension of? Go for the classification or categories of physical quantity on the basis of dimension. It is a dimensionless constant. It has no dimension and it is a constant value. So it has no dimension. So no need to write the dimension of half. So what the dimension? Acceleration. So what is the dimension of acceleration? Acceleration is L1 t minus 2, L1 t minus 2 into t square. T square means for t it is t1, square means t2. So if you multiply that, minus 2 plus 2 0, so this is equal to L1. This is equal to L1. Clear? So all the terms on both sides of the equation, all the terms on both sides of the equation have the same dimension, L1, L1, L1. Is that clear? So that relation is dimensionally correct. So we can write here the dimension of S is equal to the dimension of UT is equal to the dimension of half a t square. So the relation, physical relation, the relation is dimensionally correct. You got the you got it? Got the example 1? Now you see this equation, what the twist I will give here. Very interesting thing, what the twist I will give here. My twist is that if I will write an equation like that, S is equal to UT minus AT square. Suppose I write an equation, check the relation whether dimensionally correct or not. Check the relation whether dimensionally correct or not. Are you getting? This is example number 2. This is example number 2. Check the relation whether dimensionally correct or not. Now you do the same procedure. Clear? Now you do the same procedure. Where s is the distance, u is the initial velocity, t is the time, and a is the acceleration. Already you know these physical quantities and dimension of these physical quantities. You will read these physical quantities more clearly in kinematics. That is the later topic. But for dimension case, so dimension of different terms are, first I will take s is the first term, L1, yes, ut, this one, plus or minus, that does not bother according to the principle of homogeneity. This term, not half at square, it is at square. Is there any change in the dimension? Is there any change? No. Whether it is half or not, there is no change. So this is the same L1. So as you got s is equal to ut, that is equal to at square. So now I can write, so the relation is dimensionally correct. So the relation is dimensionally correct. But now you remember that equation 1. What the equation 1 I have given to you? Equation 1 I have given what you have? Ut plus half at square. Both are the two equations which are dimensionally correct. But one of the equation is actually physically correct or absolute correct. Means a relation is dimensionally correct, not necessarily absolute correct. Not necessarily absolute correct. That is the limitation of this dimensional analysis, right? This is the limitation of dimensional analysis. We cannot say that, right? Means a relation is dimensionally correct. We cannot say that the relation is always correct, physically, or you can say absolute correct, right? So, but this relation is actually correct. This one is not correct. Absolute correct relation, but dimensionally correct, but absolute is not correct. So that's why I have written here to check the dimensional correctness. We are checking dimensional correctness. We are not checking physically correctness. Physically correctness can be checked by your as usual derivations by using different concept laws. Okay. So this is the one of the example. So right, let me write another example. Let me erase this one. Now go to the another example that we have given a relation that another relation from that equation kinematic of equations of kinematics, that is another equation, v square minus u square is equal to 2as. It is given to me where v is called as the final velocity means the velocity finally, and u is the as usual that is called as the initial velocity, and a is the acceleration, and s is the distance or displacement. You can say that in some cases it may be like that. So this is the equation given. So check the correctness. Now do the same procedure. First v square, dimension of each term. What is the dimension of v square? I am not writing in detail. Dimensions of various terms. How many terms are here? 1, 2, 3. So first find the dimension of v square. V square means what? V is L1 t minus 1. Its square. Square means what? L2 t minus 2. First one. Then u square. That is same velocity. Don't bother about velocity term is there. Then obviously it should be L1 t minus 1. Orbital velocity, escape velocity. We will read that. Orbital velocity, escape velocity, terminal velocity. They are all are velocity. So in dimension case, when we are discussing about dimension, don't go on deep about that topic, about that physical quantity. My point is that when I will read, I will go for the total topic. When I discuss the physical quantity in fluid mechanics, suppose in fluid mechanics, I will get a terminal velocity term. In gravitation, I will find escape velocity, orbital velocity. There I will discuss about that physical quantity. If I will discuss here about that physical quantity, then what will be the problem? A small knowledge you will get in this video about that particular. Because gravitation is a chapter there. In that gravitation, we need 1 hour class to discuss or to know about escape velocity, orbital velocity, 1 hour. So if I discuss about that one for 1 hour, then the dimension part is what minimized. But here our topic is dimension. That is the thing. So for that time being, you know that it is a velocity. So initial velocity is equal to L1 frame t minus 1 to the power 2, isn't it? So I can write L2 t minus 2, same thing. Clear? Then I will go for that 2as. This is also 2 has no dimension, acceleration L1 t minus 2 s into L1. So this is equal to L2 t minus 2. Got it? So all have the same dimension. All the terms have same dimension L2 t minus 2. So I can write V square has the same dimension, U square has the same dimension, 2as. Clear? All have the same dimension. So if they have same dimension, then the relation is dimensionally correct. The relation is dimensionally correct. The same relation if it is given that half v square plus u square 2as instead of s. If it is given half v square plus u square equal to s, check the correctness. What you will write? Same procedure. You take half v square, half has no dimension, you will get the same dimension. For the v square, half v square is the same dimension. U square has the same dimension. As no 2 has no dimension, it is there or not, it has no change in the dimension. So it does not change the dimension, so we will get the same dimension. So we will also write the half v square. If I write half v square, u square and s, this is also dimensionally correct. But this is not dimensionally correct. This is not physically correct. Physically correct relation is v square minus u square equal to 2s. This is physically correct. So that is the limitation of dimensional analysis. I think you got an idea. Let me do another problem, right? So it will be very interesting. Okay, let me do another one. Now come to the another equation, right? So let me write another equation that E, another example, E, that is an energy, is equal to half mv square plus mgh. This is an equation given to me, where already you know the symbols. E is the energy, m is the mass, v is the velocity of the body, and g is the acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity, and h is the height. H is the height. From what height it is falling. Okay, I am not discussing about the relation. I got that relation is this one. How, from where it comes, all these things we will discuss later. We are here for concern about the dimension. Clear? So I will go for the dimension part, right? So E is equal to half mv square plus mgh, that is a relation given, and I have to check the dimensional correctness of the given relation, right? So now we go for the dimension of each term, energy. What is the dimension of energy? Right? When I write this one, you go by heart. For the time being, you go by heart. It is not advisable, but for the time being, you go by heart the dimensions of different physical quantities. When we read further, go for advanced one by one chapter, then you know how to calculate because if you know how to calculate the dimension, because you can know that when you read the topic, you know more about energy, then it is very easy for you to remember the formula. But for the time being, you don't know clearly about energy. You have a small idea about energy, so it is for the time being you have to very difficult to remember the formula. But once you get acquainted with energy, all these things, then it is very easy for you to remember the dimension formula as we are doing, right? We are always acquainted with this physical quantities, all these things we are discussing, we are talking about this. So it is very easy for me, and it will also easy for you in later stage. But when I write this energy in this discussion, already some of you have got the dimension of energy. So what is the dimension of? I am writing M1 L2 T minus 2. If I am wrong, then correct me. M1 L2 T minus 2. Clear? That is the energy, right? Then go for the second term, half mv square. What is the dimension of this one? So half has no dimension, m has m1, b square. I will write L2 T minus 2, isn't it? What is b? L1 T minus 1. Okay? M1 L1 T minus 1. It's square. So if you multiply all these things, what you will get? M1 L2 T minus 2. Simple mathematics. Simple mathematics. Half mv square is the same dimension. mgh. mgh. What is the dimension of this mgh? I will write m. M1 g. Acceleration due to gravity has the same dimension as that of acceleration. Clear? So what is the dimension of acceleration? L1 T minus 2 multiply. Has height is a length, dimension is length, L1. What is the dimension of length? L1. So this is equal to, I can write M1, L1, L2, T minus 2. Okay. Now students, we got this one. All have the same dimension. So I will write E has the same dimension of half mv square, has the same dimension of mgh. So I will write what? The relation is dimensionally correct. The relation is dimensionally correct. Clear? Is that clear? Okay. So what the equations you will get? If you know the dimension of the physical quantities involved in that equation, then it is easy for you to find the or to check the correctness of the given relation. Now my twist is that by using the same concept, initially I will say you that a equation is given to you. In that equation there is some unknown quantity, but the equation is dimensionally correct, and you have to find out the dimension of that unknown quantity or physical quantity. Clear? Are you getting? Now the next example I will do from here, the same by using this one. I have an equation. That equation I told you that it is dimensionally correct, so no need to check the correctness. But in that equation there is a physical quantity whose dimension I don't know. By knowing that the relation is physically dimensionally correct, I have to find the dimension of that physical quantity, which is unknown. Clear? Let me do this example. Okay, let me write. Erase this one. Now read the equation. That is the question. Find the dimensions of A and B of the equation which is dimensionally correct. It means if the equation is dimensionally correct. F equal to A root over x plus bt square, where F is the force and x is the distance and t is the time. X is the distance and t is the time. So this relation is dimensionally correct, means every term, each term on either side of the equation is dimensionally same. If this is dimensionally correct, means the dimensional formula of each term on either side of the equation is same. So to solve this one, let me write the solution. I have to find the dimension of A and B, which are two unknown physical quantity, and I have to find the dimension of A and B. So what I will do here? As for this one, the dimension of F should be equal to the dimension of A root over x should be equal to the dimension of bt square. I know about x and t and f. So first if I want to find the dimension of A, then I will check this one. So f is equal to A root over x. It means the dimension of A means A is equal to f by root over x. So I can write the dimension of A should be the dimension of f by root x. Isn't it clear? The dimension of A should be equal to dimension of not f by root x, because it's multiplied here. Now you divide here. So to get the dimension of A, now you put the dimension of f. What is the dimension of f? Force. M1, L1, T minus 2, it is given, force. And what is x? X is the distance, L1, but root over means what? This is to the power half, root over means half. So if L1 to the power half, this is L to the power what? Half. So I can write this as L to the power half. I am writing L to the power half. So this goes up. So means this is minus half. 1 minus half. So let me write M1 L1 to the power L to the power 1. This goes up, minus half, 1 minus half. 1 minus half. Again half. Then T minus 2. So this is the dimension of what? A. Clear? I got the dimension of A. Is that clear? Then go for B. Now you do by yourself. Go for B. Right? What I will do again, go for B. For B, let me write this one. For B, F is equal to BT square. I can write also this one. So B dimension is equal to F by T square dimension. F is equal to M1 L2 T minus 2 divided by T square T2, right? M1 L1 T minus 2 divided by what? T2. So what I will get? This is equal to M1 L1 T minus 4. 2 minus 2 minus 2 minus 2 minus 4. This one is the dimension of what? B. This is the dimension of B, right? So in the same equation, find the dimension of A by B. Already you know the dimension of A, and already you know the dimension of B. So find the A by B in the same equation. Suppose it is given, asked you, find the dimension of A by B. So already you got the B, A and B. So in the same equation, if it is given, find the dimension of A by B. After getting A and B, if you recall, what the dimension of A I got? What the dimension I got for A? A is equal to M1 L half. Dimension of A, M1 L half T minus 2. I think this one. Or rewind your video and you will get this one, right? M1 L half T minus 2. Then B. Now B I got this one. M1 L1 T minus 4. So find A by B. In the same question, I am not writing the question. If in the same question is given, find the dimension of A by B. So what you will do? Divide these two. Then what you will do? Divide these two. M1 L half T minus 2 divided by M1 L1 T minus 4. M1 get cancelled. L half L1. M1 get cancelled. L half L1. If you go of L minus 1 into L half. So L to the power minus 1 plus half. Minus 1 plus half. Minus half. Do the mathematics. Minus half. T plus 4 minus 2. That is T 2. L half, L minus half, T 2. That is the solution. Okay. Now we got, I will not go for, because the video will be very much longer. Then I will go for the second application. Okay. Now I will go for the second application. In that way you can solve any problem. Okay. Okay students, now the second application, to derive a relationship between different physical quantities. But remember, before I start this one, I will tell you one thing. According to the principle of homogeneity, each term on either side of the equation is dimensionally of the same dimension. That the equation should be to be an equation dimensionally correct. And I already told that a equation is dimensionally correct, not necessarily always correct, physically, or you can say absolute correct. But a absolute correct relation should be dimensionally correct. A absolute correct relation should be dimensionally correct. Clear? That is the concept. Now, in this part, now I will derive a relationship between different physical quantities. Relationship between different physical quantities. How we will derive this one? It means if I know a physical quantity, clear, and on what factors that physical quantity depends, and on what factors that physical quantity depends. If I know, then only by using the principle of homogeneity I can able to derive the relationship. Clear? I know a physical quantity depends on other physical quantities, then only I can derive a relation. Clear? So, to do that by using that principle of homogeneity, let me write an example is that the centripetal force, the question is given like that, the centripetal force acting on a body, the centripetal force acting on a body revolving in a circular path. So, the centripetal force acting on a body revolving in a circular path depends upon mass of the body, depends upon the mass of the body. Next, velocity of the body, and radius of the circle. This is given to me, right? The centripetal force acting on a body revolving in a circular path depends upon mass of the body, velocity of the body, and radius of the circle. Derive a relation for centripetal force. Clear? So here you see here, when I discuss this, derive the relation for centripetal force, this is the question given. If I recollect, if centripetal force is a force, when a body is acting in a circular path, the force acting, that is called centripetal force, and the centripetal force depends on the parameters or the physical quantities like mass of the body, that I should know, velocity of the body, that also I should know, and radius of the circle, that should I know. If I know these three, on what factors the physical quantity depends, then only I can able to derive the relation. Is that clear? So that's the meaning, to derive a relationship between different. At the beginning I told that if I know a physical quantity, I know centripetal force, and I know that centripetal force depends on mass, velocity, and radius, then only I can derive the relation. So remember, I am telling while discussing this thing means we will go for, this is a limitation. This is a limitation of dimensional analysis. When we discuss that, then we discuss the limitations of dimensional analysis. By using this dimensional analysis, we go for three applications. Then what we are not able to do by using this dimensional analysis, that is the limitation. When we will discuss the limitation, this is a limitation we will find. Okay. So now my point is that here, let me derive the relation for centripetal force. Clear? How we will do so? So let me write the solution. The solution is what? How we will find the solution? Is the centripetal force acting on a body revolving in a circular path. So I will write here centripetal force, let the symbol is F. The symbol is F. And the centripetal force acting on a body revolving in a circular path depends upon the mass of the body. But on what factor, by what factor it depends, I don't know. On what factors it depends, I don't know. So for that, what I will do, I will write this as F is proportional to the mass with what powers I don't know. I will take this as A. I will take this as A because I don't know this A. A is unknown to me. F depends on mass, whether it is m square, m minus 1, m minus 2. That I have to find out. That I have to find out. Then the next parameter I will take, F depends on velocity, let that is b to the power b. On what factor I don't know. Maybe b may be half, minus half, 2, 1 like that. And F depends on the radius r to the power c. I will write like this. Okay. So after writing all these things, clear? So I will write this as let F is proportional to this way. So F is directly proportional to m if I write, then that is wrong, because on what factors it depends I don't know. If it is given that the force acting on the body is directly proportional to the mass of the body, then I will write F is proportional to m. It is not given like that. It depends. Depends means it may be m to the power half, minus half like that. So that's why we are taking A, B, C. I have to find out A, B, C, then only I can find the relation. Clear? Then only I can find the relation. Okay. So now we go for this relation derivation. Okay. So now if you combine this one. So if you combining these three equations, what you will find? F is proportional to, I will write, combine these three. So F is proportional to, what I will get? If you combine m to the power A, m to the power A, b to the power b, and r to the power c. And if you write the equal symbol, F is equal to, there must be a proportional to equal means there must be a constant of proportionality. So k, m to the power A, b to the power b, r to the power c. Where this k is what? Where this k, remember always, where this k, where k is dimensionless constant. It is the constant of proportionality, constant of proportionality, proportionality, which is dimensionless constant, dimensionless constant means it has no dimension and the value is constant. It may be half, maybe pi, maybe e to the power 2, maybe log 10, whatever it may be. It has no dimension, it is a constant. Okay, so that is the constant proportionality. So this is also in this dimension analysis, you never get the value of k. By using dimension analysis, you will never get the value of k. This is also a limitation of dimension analysis. Okay, now let me go for this. So A, according to the principle of homogeneity, now I'll put this principle of homogeneity. Each term on either side R should have same dimension. So let me first write the force dimension, m1, L1, T minus 2. Clear? Is equal to, what is the dimension of k? What is the dimension of k? K has no dimension. It is dimensionless constant. Already you have written this one. So let write the dimension of m. m1 to the power what? A. What is v? Velocity. L1 t minus 1 to the power b. What is r? L1 to the power c. Now multiply this. Take powers of n one term, powers of L one terms, powers of T one term. So we will write m 1 into a, m a to the power a, L to the power b plus c, T to the power minus b. Got it? Is equal to, what is the LHS? m1 L1 T minus 2. Okay students? So I got this relation. Now you see here. As you know, same dimensions or the physical quantity having same dimension, they can compare or they can equate. So what is the dimension of this one? This must be same. Means A must be 1, B plus C must be 1, minus B must be C. The powers must be same. Clear? Is that clear? So comparing the dimension of similar quantities. Now we comparing the dimensions of similar quantities. Let me write here again. Comparing the dimensions of similar quantities. Comparing the dimensions of similar quantities. Comparing the dimensions of similar quantities. What I will get? Similar quantities, m power should be compared with m. So a should be 1, b plus c should be what? 1, and minus b should be minus 2. So I can write a. So equating the powers of m, l and t. The meaning is that equating the powers of m, l and t. So a is equal to what? 1, b plus c is equal to 1, minus b is equal to minus 2. Clear? Now already you know a, b is equal to, this implies b is equal to 2. Now put here a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2. Now we go for this equation. 2 plus c is equal to 1. So c is equal to what? Minus 2 plus 1, minus 1. C is equal to minus 1. So I got this a, b and c. Now you put the in your expression 1, equation 1. That equation is f is equal to, putting that, I have not put that equation number. You can put that equation number also. So now go for your equation. What the equation you got? F is equal to, the equation is f is equal to k m to the power a, then b to the power b, r to the power c. That is my equation. Now I got ABC, so I can write f is equal to k m to the power a means 1, b to the power b minus 2, r to the power c means 1. So I can write this f is equal to k mv square by r. I can write like this. So this is the expression for the centripetal force, right? But in this expression I don't know about this k, but physically you will read centripetal force, there we show that k is equal to 1. So the formula is mv square by r. So this is a limitation. Always you get this dimensionless constant. In some cases this k may be half. In some cases the k may be pi. So you cannot find this k, right? This is a limitation. Another thing. Now in this case, when you are solving this one, you are getting 3 equations and 3 unknowns, a, b, c. 3 equations and 3 unknowns, right? If in an equation, if I will give you an equation where there are 4 unknowns, if I write here, the centripetal force acting on a body revolving in a circular path depends on mass, velocity, radius, then I will add here, suppose, density of the body. In the question I will add here, density of the body. So in that case, what I will do again? M to the power a, b to the power b, r to the power c, then density suppose I will take rho to the power d. Then there are how many unknowns? A, B, C, D, 4 unknowns. I have to find out A, B, C, D. But how many equations I will get here? By equating the powers. By equating the powers, how many equations I will get? 3 equations. Because f is m1, l1, t minus 2. Power of m1 should be compared, L should be compared, T should be compared. So I will get 3 equations like this, A1, B plus C is equal to 1, minus B. I will get 3 equations. But how many unknowns? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 unknown, 3 equations. Can you find? Can you find the values of 4 unknown? No, it is not possible to find the 4th one. So that is also if a physical quantity depends on more than 4 physical quantities, then it is not possible to derive the relation. That is also a limitation. So while discussing, I am giving you the limitation part also. Okay. Next, I think I will do another one. Okay. Okay, students. Now go for another example on the same application to derive the relationship. Now here I will derive the relationship for frequency of vibration of a stretched string depends upon, it is given length, mass per unit length and the tension in the string, and the symbol is also given what I will consider. Obtain dimensional expression for frequency. Do the same procedure. Let me write solution. Find the solution. Right? I will not write in detail. Already in the first case what I have written, that the same procedure. I will do the mathematical part only. The frequency n, let n depends on frequency, symbol is n, its length L to the power a depends on what power I don't know. N is directly proportional to mass per unit length, that is m. Remember, this is not mass. Mass per unit length, m by L, mass per unit length. So this is your mass per unit length, and n is proportional to t, mass per unit length to the power b, and tension is nothing but it is a force. What is the dimension of force? That is the tension. Now combining all these three, combining, n is proportional to L to the power a, m to the power b, t to the power c. And if you write equal to k, L to the power a, m to the power b, t to the power c, where k is the dimensionless constant. Will I write, or you can write? You can write in your note where k dimensionless constant. It has no dimension. Clear? Now this is the equation, that is generally equation 1. Now you put the dimension of n. What is the dimension of n? Frequency 1 by time period. 1 by time period t minus 1 is equal to k has no dimension, L length L1 to the power a, m, don't put m1, mass per unit length, mass per unit length. So this should be equal to m1 L minus 1, mass per unit length m1 L1 to the power minus b. That is a symbol. Generally in some cases the symbol may be mu. Here you can change the symbol. If you have confusion for mass, you can take as mu. Otherwise, if you read the letter state, you can know about this m, mass per unit length. And the third one is the tension, that is a force, m1 L1 t minus 2, force, like force to the power c. Next part is what? Now I will do the, okay, now make the powers. 1 powers of mass, length and time. So on RHS, so this is obviously t minus 1. Then m to the power b plus c, L to the power a minus b, this is plus c. Then t to the power, there is no t term, minus 2c, like this. Then equating the powers of m, L and t, according to the powers of m, L and t. So what I will get? So this is my equation 1. Now let me erase this one. According to the powers of m, L, t, so I will get the equations what? B plus c is equal to minus 1, a minus b plus c is equal to, sorry, b plus c, m power has no power, 0, a minus b plus c, L power 0, t minus 2c is equal to minus 1. So let this is 2, 3, equation 4. Okay, I got the 3 equations. Then 3 equations, 3 unknown I can find. If I will get 4 unknown, if another factor is there also, another physical quantity, another unknown. So for that I will take the power and the physical quantity to the power d. So I will get how many equations? If I will take the power d, then I will get what? B, C, A, B, C, D, 4 unknown. But the equation must be how much? 3, because m power, L power, T power. 4 parameter, 4 fundamental physical quantity or dimension is not there. So 4 unknown, 3 equation, that is not possible. So that is the limitation. So I will get 3 equations. I got these 3 equations. From here, C is equal to half. Clear? I got C is equal to half. Put that C is equal to half here in equation 2. From equation 2, B plus half. b plus half is equal to 0. So b is equal to minus half. Got it? C is equal to half and b is equal to how much? Minus half. C is equal to, b is equal to half, sorry, b is equal to minus half, c is equal to half. Then find the equation from equation 3, find a, putting b and c in equation, write this thing, putting b and c, putting equation, putting b and c in equation, putting b and c in equation 3, b and c in equation 3. So a minus b, b is minus half, so minus minus plus, so that is plus half. A minus half plus half, plus c, c is how much? Half. C is equal to half, that is equal to 0. So a plus 1, half plus half, 1, half plus half is how much? 1. So a plus half equal to how much? So a plus 1 is equal to 0. So a is equal to minus 1. Got it? A, B, C. So let me write here. I got a is equal to minus 1, b is equal to minus half, c is equal to half. Putting a, b, c in equation 1. Putting a, b, c in equation 1. You write this thing. When you are watching the video, at the same time, you open your notebook and do the practice. What I am doing, you do the practice, then you will get the doubts. Okay? Then you will get the doubts. So, putting a, b and c in equation 1. What is that equation 1? Frequency k, constant of proportionality, dimensionless constant, then L to the power a, mass per unit length, b, t to the power c. So n is equal to k as it is, L to the power a is what? Minus 1, m, mass per unit length, minus b, t, c is half. Or I can write this as n is equal to k 1 by L minus 1 by L, t by m minus half to the power half. Okay? Or I can write this as or here to write in the for writing in a method that is k by L or k 1 by L root over t by m, or you can say k by L root over t by m, but you don't know about this k, k. So this is the required equation. Okay? So in that second application I solved 2 examples. Then you can, in your materials also you can get more number of questions how to derive the relation. My motto or my point is that how to derive, you do this procedure. Clear? We follow this procedure, then you will get a relation if you know the dimensions of the physical quantity. But the important thing is that you should know that on what physical quantities the given physical quantity depends, so that you can derive a relation. Okay? Okay students, go through the video and get a clear idea about the 2 applications. In the next video I will go for the third application. Okay? Thank you.